Hey everyone, I'm just going to interject here. I made a mistake on the card that I showed on the video. So either watch to the end or go to the end and I'll explain, okay? I don't want you to miss. It's the vertical cascading pleated card. Hey everyone, it's Patty from pspapercrafts. Thank you for joining me today. We have another Friday Fun Fold, and today we are making a cascading pleated card. Isn't this cool? I love it. So it opens, and then it opens again, and you can decorate it however you want. This is a horizontal or landscape version. We're going to make a vertical or portrait version on today's video, and I will have a link below for a project sheet which will have all the measurements for both styles, and I'll put a template out there so it makes sense to you. But don't you love this? So this I found on Pinterest. I always look on Pinterest, and Tammy White did a video on it. And I watched her video and I got the measurements and everything. But she said that she got it from Susan Campfield, who I don't know if she's the originator. She's very creative, Susan, so she probably is. But cascading pleated fold card. So fun. It's a mouthful, but it's fun. So on this card, let me just get the sun out of here. I'm going to just close my blinds a little bit. I see the sun marks there. I never know how it's going to be. I put the blinds open so I have light, and then I've got the sun in and out of clouds. So for this one, I went back to one of my old favorites. I love birds. So this is the Birds of Winter. Is that right? Or Nests of Winter. And this is something that we used a lot at Christmas time. But it's still available, and it's really just beautiful. I use this paper for all the 3 pieces, and then I hand cut from this one, this bird, and I put it on a circle that I die cut using the Stylish Shapes dies. And then I also cut a piece of vellum. I love vellum. We don't really carry the plain vellum like we used to. But there is vellum in, this is still available, Graceful Greenery vellum. And there's some colored ones, but there's this one that I think is kind of neat. So I put it on that, and then I decided to put a little white to, I don't know if you could see it, a little white background. So I cut 2 circles, one from white, one from the vellum. And then on the inside, I stamped the bird with the Winterly Treetops. I stamped this bird and then just colored it with some stamping blends. So isn't this great? I love it. I really, it stands up nicely. So you can't see how it would look, but it's nice for putting on a shelf or a counter or something like that. So we are going to use a different set of products for the one I'm making today, and I'm going to make it vertical. So I decided, I've got all this stuff out here, I decided to use the Wildflower Birthday 12 by 12 paper. And in this paper, there's different patterns and stuff, but then there's also, I don't have it out, but there's this, you get 2 of each. There's this one that you can cut out different pieces, but then there's this one, got a dimensional backing there that I have. I'm using some of the pieces from this. So this is from the other side. I'm using this cake piece and some of the flowers on this card. So I just punched it out, and then I hand cut. I don't know if I'm going to use that, but one of the papers has it's just got a pattern like this, so I just cut a piece out. Oh, it's the other side of this, and just fussy cut one of the cakes. We may or may not use this. I'm not sure how we're going to do the inside, so we shall see. So let me put this aside. I have all my pieces out, but I wanted to show you that I was using some of these pre-die cut pieces. They're really great. I mean, so easy to make a card with just a bunch of balloons or a bouquet. or a birthday cake. These are fun birthday cakes. So let's get started with our card. You put this aside. So I'm using Pretty in Pink as my card base, and this is half of a sheet of 8.5 by 11. So it's cut at 5.5 by 11, okay? Or sorry, by 8.5. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. So it's just a half a sheet. And we are going to do our scoring on this. We'll put this aside, and the scoring and the cutting is different. Even the size of the card base is different if you're making it vertical or horizontal. So again, I will have all the measurements on my project sheet below. So let me get my trimmer out. And we're going to use the scoring blade, which is the light blade. And we are going to score it on the 8.5 side at 1 1/16. So if you look at your trimmer, you have the 1 and the 2, those are inches, and then the long one in the middle is a 1/2 inch, and the ones between are 1/4, and the ones between that are 1/8, and then the ones between that are 1/16. So that very first tiny line is a 16. So we are going to score this at 1 1/16. Right, like that. And then we're going to go to 2 1/8. So that would be the one after the 16th is the 8th. And then we're going to 3 3/8. 3 and 1 2 3/8. And then 4 1/4. So the idea for the horizontal one is the same, that you're going to score 4. And I think that's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, which makes it a little bit easier. And then what we want to do, so now you have your 4 score lines. We're going to put it back in the trimmer, and this time we're going to cut it. So we're going to use our cutting blade, and we're going to come out to 3/4 of an inch. And we are going to cut from the 3rd line up at 3/4 of an inch. And I'm not at 3/4 of an inch. Where am I? 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom, and there's a little line here, and I'm just going to line it up with that score line and go up. Okay, and then we're going to take this out, and I'll take my paper snips, and I'm just going to cut this out. Okay, and then we're going to do something similar. We're going to come into 3/4 of an inch again. So 3/4 of an inch, and now we're going to go from the first score line up. And you'll see what this is going to do. So you can either go down or up. I'm going to line up my little line with the score line and go up. Okay. This is very easy card to make once you have the idea of how to do it. When you look at it, you're like, wow, that's really cool. And I don't know if Susan invented this or created it, designed it, but whoever did, hats off to you, because it looks really cool. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut from this point to this point. Just cut a triangle off, and then the same thing here. Now, I've not made this layout yet. I've only made the landscape one, so we'll see how this comes out. But it's the same idea. You're going to do the same thing, it's just different measurements. So you're going to cut this one, and then you're going to cut from this score line to this. Okay, so that's all garbage. So now we have, you'll see, I'm going to just fold and burnish. If where is my, here it is, my bone folder. So I'm going to fold them all in first, and then we'll we'll fold them the right way. And sometimes it's good to fold them back and forth to really make them sit well. Okay, so now this is going to go like this and like this. Okay, very cool. Then we're going to get our paper. We have cardstock, and then we have designer series paper. And I will have all the sizes, but the designer series paper for this back is your normal 4 by 5 1/4, so 4 by 5 1/4, and you can have it go whichever direction you want. I cut it so the stripes are going this way. And then we have 2 pieces of cardstock, and this piece is, the middle piece is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, so 3 1/2, 4 3/4, and then this is 2 3/4 by 4. And then the panels that go on top of them are just a little bit smaller. So the middle panel is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and that's going to sit on this one. And then this one is 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. I'm looking at my notes, and that will sit here. And then these are going to all go in place. So let's put our pieces together like that, and then we'll move on. So I'm going to just put some Snail or Seal Plus. Snail is our old name. So this is that paper that I cut this from, if we decide to use it. So let's put this one down first. And we just want to get it lined up so it has an even border. And then let's put these together. I was going to use this pattern, but I thought it might be too busy. I like it, but not as a full front and full piece for me, for my taste. Okay. And then this one. I'll just put this down. And then we can put our pieces together. I have a little ridge here, so I'm going to turn it upside down. I have a little ridge there too. So let me just, sometimes when you need a new blade, which I probably need to replace mine, you'll get a ridge when you cut. Okay. All right, so now we have our pieces down. What we're going to do is put adhesive here and put this right like this, right up against it. You don't want to go too close because you want this to fold, but you want it to go flush down here and flush at the top. So we're just going to put our adhesive on this. And for this, I would use a strong adhesive. So this is the Seal Plus. You can use liquid glue, you can use tear and tape, because you want this to stand up. So I'm going to have it lined up all the way to the bottom, and a little tiny bit off the fold so that it folds. Okay, see how it's coming together? And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to just put adhesive here. And I kind of missed the top part. And then this piece will sit right on here. So you want it to go flush, top, bottom. So there's your card. Now you just have to decorate it. Isn't that cool? Hats off to Susan. Okay, then I have, this is going to be my inside piece. I decided to take some soft sea foam in, and we're going to put this, and this has to go, you don't want it up here because you don't want it to show. I mean, you can have it show if you like that look, but I like to have it down here where it's hidden. Oh, it's a little bit too wide. I thought I measured it. So I'm going to cut this down and I'll tell you the new measurements. I want it to be, what I did was I cut it the size of the designer series paper. And I thought that would work, but it is too, I didn't want it to show here. So I am going to cut this down. This one, let me just see, is currently 3 1/4. I'm going to make it 3 1/8. That might be still. I'm going to make it 3. I think 3 1/8 is still going to be a little bit too tight. So I'm going to take 1/4 off of this as well. So this was 4 1/2. I'm going to make it 4 1/4. So I'll make sure this is in the instructions. So that was what this size was. So now I'm going to cut this down. Let's see. So we're going to make this 2 7/8. So the inside is kind of small. 2 7/8 by 4. All right. 2 7/8 by 4. Let's see how that looks. And I don't know if my happy birthday is going to fit, because the birthday is very big. Let's see how this is going to work. So we want to put this here, close it up, close it up. So see this one, it's kind of over. And I think this one seems to have more room, because this black is the same size as this designer series paper. But this again is a little bit different. Okay, so let's see if I have the birthday. I was going to use the happy birthday from Birthday Celebration, and if this is too big, I may change it up. Let's see. Oh, it'll fit. And so what I was going to do was do the happy birthday and either put a flower or a small flower or a cake. Let's do the birthday first. And I'm going to put this, stamp it in Blueberry Bushel, because there's some blue in the cake and there's some blue in the flower, and I just thought it would be, you know, stand out a little bit better. Birthday. Because you do want a little bit of room to have your name on it, right? Who it's to and who it's from. And we'll do happy right here. So I think this is too big. I was going to use this on the front. Maybe we'll just do this cake. So I just fussy cut that cake. You can stamp. You could just leave it alone because you really don't need anything, because it is very, very small amount. But I have it cut, so we might as well use it. So then we'll have the inside done. Then we have to do the middle piece and then the front piece. So happy birthday. Isn't that pretty? And this has Make-A-Wish we're going to do on the front. And then you can do, there's dies that go with this with numbers. So you can put happy like 2nd birthday, happy 90th birthday. So this is a nice set to have. So let's put this together. And I like having a different color cardstock on the inside, the soft sea foam. Soft sea foam is such a pretty color. It's very subtle. It's a pretty green. Okay, so then this we want, I think I'm going to put it down with liquid glue just to make sure I have it in the right place. The liquid glue gives you that little bit of time to move it around if you need to. And I kind of want to have some kind of border around it. Will that work? Yes. Okay. I didn't want it to go all the way in the bottom, so it's got the pink around it. So that is done. On the middle piece, I thought we would do just the cake. Okay, and I'll put that down with liquid glue as well. So you have to make sure whatever you're putting down will kind of hide behind that first flap. So let's make sure this closes over it. Perfect. Okay. And then the last thing we want to do is stamp our Make-A-Wish. And I'm also going to put this down or stamp it in the Blueberry Bushel. I love Blueberry Bushel. It's really a pretty blue. And it's in, you know, in some of the accents. So we'll just stamp this just like this. And then I thought we would put this little tiny flower here. Just like that. All right, let's put that down. And I think we're done then. I wasn't going to put any bling on this. What do you think? Oops, I moved it. And let's put this down with some dimensionals. All right. Isn't it easy though? I was just, you know, sometimes when I pick these cards, I don't make them until usually the week that I'm going to demonstrate it. And sometimes I'm like, what did I get myself into with this card? And I was looking at this thinking, oh boy, this is going to be one of those. And it turned out to be so easy. And I think it's a fun card to get. Let me just push this down. Wouldn't you love to receive this? I think it's pretty cool. And we'll just put this right here, kind of in the center. Make-A-Wish. So you would get it out of the envelope. You'd open it. Oh, the candle. Happy birthday. I think we should put some bling on it. Let me find something. Okay, so let's put some of these tinsel gems. This is the 4-pack, and I believe this is Blueberry Bushel. I'm just wondering, should we put them up here? Let's just put 3 of them right up here. Oops. Come on. I mean, you could put them down there, but I feel like I've got the flower. So I'm going to put just 3 little ones. Let's see, should we put it here or here? I'm going to put it here. And there's this thing again. Can't get rid of this guy. Have to put him in the garbage. All right, so I think we are done. For this one, I love these sparkle gems. Adhesive backed sparkle gems. They come in a gold and a black and then a clear, and they have all the sparkles in them. So I put that on here. Thinking of you always. Got this cute little bird, and then you can write a little note here. Or Make-A-Wish. You've got a nice piece of cake, blow out the candle, and then the happy birthday. Again, this is a cascading pleated card, and I think it's fun. So this is from my calendar. I always have to say about my calendar. This is my January calendar, and every month I come out with a calendar, and if you subscribe to my email list, you can get this for free. I send it out each month, and then I also send it out each week, pretty much just referring to some of the cards I made. So we did the cascading pleated card. Next week, we're going to make a simple pleated panel on a card. We have our color combos that I have on my blog. I usually make a card on Thursday with a color combo. I do sketches usually on Wednesday and Saturday. I'm part of the Split Coast Stampers sketch team, so I always have a sketch on Wednesday, and then I always do the Atlantic Hearts sketch challenges on Saturday, or I try to. And then I just have some other things for you to try just to get some inspiration. And again, you can get this if you subscribe to my email list. There's a link below this video. So there's a link for a project sheet below the video, a link to subscribe to my email list, and also a link for to shop. So if you want these products, feel free to shop. I'd love to have your business. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Stay warm and stay safe. And I'll see you next Friday. Bye. So I'm back. I realized that this one doesn't look right while I was taking pictures. See how this lines up and this one doesn't? So I'm back and I looked at the instructions that I found on online, and I had the measurements right, but then when I looked back at the video that I watched, I realized that the when you do your scoring, there's one that I have wrong. I will have it right in the project sheet, but the scoring, when you score this, it's going to be at 1 1/16. I'm trying to figure out how to show you here. So it will be 1 1/16, and then 2 1/8, and then 3 3/16. I did 3 3/8, and I think that's my problem. And then 4 1/4. Okay, so I will have it correct on the project sheet and the template that I show you. So it just, I mean, this is fine. I don't think anybody would notice it. I'll still keep the card, but this should all be lined up here. And I think that would have made this the right size. So I just wanted to let you know that. And again, I will update it. Thanks.